Let your body waddle. Body waddle.
What is going on, Crimson City? My name is Crimson CBAD, and I'm coming to you today as the coach of your Detroit Steelwings going up into Week 4 of the Global Battle Association, the GBA. So if you guys are excited, be sure to smash that like button, and as always, if you guys are new to the city, feel free to hit that subscribe button as well. Now then, we are going up against OldManTup and the Pittsburgh Pirattatas, and I really hope I'm saying that right because he's very adamant about how people say his name, and he's not jolly about it either. Anyways, so Tup got the first overall draft pick, and the first overall drafted mon of Season 5 was Excadrill. Now, it's a very scary Pokemon, and on top of Excadrill, he also has Celebi, Arcanine, Machamp, Jellicent, Ambipom, Thundurus Incarnate, Kyurem, Regular Kyurem, Golbat, Archeops, and Mega Tyranitar. Now, that's a very, very threatening team, because he does have Jolly Sandrush Excadrill. Sandrush Excadrill in any fashion is just a huge problem. And he does have that supported by the Mega Tyranitar. He also has a very disturbingly good Grass, Fire, Water core. And the Celebi, the Arcanine, and the Jellicent, however, Knockoff does take care of. It does do good damage to both. Any Dark-type moves do a fair amount of damage to both Celebi and the Jellicent. But the Arcanine does complement that. If he does bring a Justified Arcanine, so fun fact, Arcanine gets Justified. Did not know that. So I know it's my mascot, I should know these things, but that's why we invest into teams. That's why we take time to invest into our opponent's teams. That way we can take a look. And I've actually been laddering a lot with his team, just so I could get a better feel for it, just so I could see, just so I could know what I'd expect, I guess. So notes that I took on this team really quick before we break into, we're going to break down his team really quick. A Jolly Sandrush Excadrill has a 308 speed. I can't beat that, ever. Done. He has hazard setters in the form of Excadrill, Celebi, Archeops, and Mega Tyranitar. Other than that, he has no form of Sticky Web, he has no form of Toxic Spikes, and he has no form of actual spikes. He has no Golbat's Flying, so it doesn't get rid of Poison, Toxic Spikes if we do bring it. But he's got a Spinner in the Excadrill, and he's got two Defoggers in the form of Golbat and Archeops. Other than that, he has no form of removing hazards. He does have 5 of his 11 Mons are weak to rocks. Excuse me. There it is. Excuse me. So Stealth Rocks would be a nice thing to bring. We are not bringing those, fun fact. Also, he has 4 Mons on his team weak to fighting. Our second overall pick was Infernape, so we can take advantage of that. 4 Mons on his team weak to water as well, so our third overall pick can take care of that. 4 Mons on his team weak to ice, 3 to ground, 3 to fairy, 3 to electric, and 3 to steel. He does have several immunities on his team of different aspects, and we'll break down that as we go over the team. So give me 1 second, I'm going to switch over to Showdown right now. Okay, as you guys can see on the team, Streamers is making its debut to the GBA. Streamers is bringing Surf, Calm Mind, Ice Beam, and Shadow Ball. We have max HP, max special attack, 4 in defense with a modest nature, Surf, Calm Mind, Ice Beam, and Shadow Ball. Now, the last set I was as mentally and emotionally invested in as I was this Streamers set was Beat Up Crocodile. Beat Up Crocodile did exactly what I wanted it to do, which was knock out the Alakazam. So hopefully with this, what I want to do with this set is I want to bluff a Crocoon set. I want to go for a Calm Mind on something, and he thinks, oh, he's going to start setting up all over me. Let me go into something else. Let me go into, I don't know, nothing on his team. Does he get like a Whirlwind? He probably gets a few Roar users like the Arcanine. I don't know if Archeops or Golbat get a Whirlwind, but he'll want to start either doing huge wall-breaking damage, or he'll want to start trying to phase me out to get me out of these plus Calm Minds. So by the time I get 1 Calm Mind up, I already do a huge amount of damage to his team. If I can manage to get 2 Calm Minds up, I can tank hits because Suicune's bulk, natural bulk, base 115 special defense and defense, base 100 HP. We can take hits for days. We've got leftovers for the recovery, and we can just light his team up with this. Surf takes advantage of the 4 Mons on his team weak to water, being the Excadrill, being the Arcanine, being the Archeops, and the Tyranitar. Ice Beam also hits the other Mons, such as the Celebi. It also hits the Thundurus. It's a neutral hit on the Kyurem, actually. The Golbat and the Archeops. And then Shadow Ball does hit the Jellicent and the Celebi both super effectively. Shadow Ball is just there for the Jellicent. If he decides to bring it in, he does have Water Absorb Jellicent, or he can bring Water Absorb Jellicent, I should say. So we do have Shadow Ball on there, and for whatever reason, if we get Curse Body Shadow Ball, Ice Beam is also going to be able to hit the Celebi very, very well. So that's really what I want to do with this set. I want to bring this thing in on something like the Arcanine, something like the Jellicent. I don't think he's going to bring Archeops. I anticipate Celebi, Arcanine, Jellicent, Excadrill, T-Tar, and Thundurus. Those are 6 mons I anticipate him to bring. Looking at his team, I anticipate that diversity. We're going to see what happens. But those are the 6 mons I predict him to bring. And Suicune handles that team very, very well, unless he's bringing, like, physically offensive, like a Choice Banded Wild Charge kind of hurts. But we do have other answers for that. If we can scout if the Arcanine is physically offensive and is banded or even Life Orbed, we've got other answers for that in the team, as you guys can see up in the little layout here. But that is going to be it for streamers. Next up, we're bringing Hephaestus. Hephaestus is rocking the Expert Belt, Iron Fist ability, Mach Punch, Stone Edge, Fake Out, Slack Off, 100 HP, max attack, 156 in speed with an adamant nature. This is another fun set that I like, because originally I was bringing like a Life Orb set, double priority, talked about it with a few people, and I decided to switch it up just a bit. So we're bringing the Expert Belt. Now, max attack, Iron Fist, Expert Belt, Mach Punch. Wrecks 4 mons on his team weak to fighting. Wrecks each one of them. Absolutely each one of them just destroys it. Fake Out and Mach Punch are for if he does bring something like a Sandrush Excadrill, if he does take advantage of that to go for a sweep of some sort. Even if he brings a Scarfed Excadrill, because we don't have anything in the means of outspeeding a Scarfed Excadrill. That is why I have this. Between Fake Out and Mach Punch, we will be able to take out the Excadrill with that. Stone Edge, again, is going to take advantage of the 5 mons on his team weak to rock typing, being, like I said before, Archeops, Golbat, Kyurem, Thundurus, Arcanine. Because the Arcanine really can sit in front of this set and just kind of stare at it. But Stone Edge, Fake Out, Mach Punch combination are going to be able to take care of that. Slack Off for the recovery if I can predict a switch, go for a Slack Off to get some recovery back. Maybe we're taking some Sandstorm damage, maybe we got Toxic. Who knows? But either way, Slack Off is there for the recovery. Celebi walls this set, but I don't think he's gonna leave Celebi in on an Infernape. Maybe he's just so outlandishly real of a battler that he will, but I don't see him doing that. Not to say he's not outlandishly real. I just don't see him leaving a Celebi in on an Infernape. Especially when we get access to U-Turn. That's quad super effective. It's just not going to be good. So, then let me double check my notes here on this. We actually outspeed a Adamant Max Speed Arcanine. We outspeed it by 1 point. If he brings a Jolly Arcanine, we are not outspeeding that. But if he does bring an offensive set of an Arcanine, we are able to outspeed that. Pop it with a Mach Punch, Stone Edge, hopefully knock it out. Next up on the team, we're bringing Cream Cheese back. And a lot of people were hating on Cream Cheese last week, and I get it. I had an hour to prep. Maybe an offensive Audino wasn't the best thing. But we all make mistakes. We're all human at the end of the day. So, this week, Cream Cheese is back. She's rocking the leftover. She's got the Regenerator. She's rocking Heal Bell, Wish, Dazzling Gleam, and Toxic. Max HP, Max Special Defense, Foreign Special Attack, Calm Nature. Cream Cheese is going to be our Cleric, like an Audino should be. Heal Bell to get rid of any... he does have Prankster Thundurus, so if he can bring Thundurus in on Infernape and pop a T-Wave on it, that's not good. If he burns things like, as you guys can see up there, if he can manage to burn Staraptor, if he can manage to Toxic, Winchester, or Parasite, we can come back out, we can Heal Bell this thing. This thing can also pretty much sit in front of things like Jellicent, because we can Wish up, we can Heal Bell if he Scald Burns us. He can't hit us with a Shadow Ball. We can Toxic a Jellicent, just kind of sit in front of it, because Jellicent's a huge, just bulky mon, and I don't really have much for it on my team, because the 2 most powerful physical stabs on my team, he's immune to, so... Other than that, that's my plan for Audino, is just kind of sit in front of the Jellicent. But we can also take advantage of the 3 mons on his team. Weak 2 Fairies in the Kyurem, in the Mega Tyranitar, and the Machamp as well. I don't want to leave this thing on a Machamp, obviously. But I also do got to be careful because Machamp does get Guts, and I don't want to Toxic boost that thing at all. Regenerator for the recovery, as well as the leftovers, as well as the Wish. Hopefully Audino does stick around it long enough to take advantage of its Cleric abilities, being able to Toxic Poison a few things on his team. He only has 1 Steel type on his team, being the Excadrill. Other than that, I cannot poison the Golbat. I cannot poison the Golbat, the Excadrill, and I don't want to poison the Machamp. If I have to, I have to. I really don't want to. I really don't want to if he does bring it. Like I said, I already predicted the 6 mons for him to bring. Next up, Post-Hardcore. Post-Hardcore is coming in. I am bound to show off this bird in a GBA match. I am bound to do that, and hopefully this is the match. If not, oh well. Choice Scarf, Post-Hardcore, Reckless Ability, Close Combat, Double Edge, Brave Bird, and U-Turn. 22 in speed, I believe. Let me run that calc again. Hopefully you don't see my calculator. We are looking at Ambipom caps out at 183 if it's Jolly. Yeah, that's right. That's right. 183 if it's Jolly. With a Scarf with 22 EVs in speed, we are capping out at 184, so we can outspeed a Jolly Ambipom. Close combat takes advantage of all the mons. Weak to fighting on his team. Double Edge and Bravebird for the stabs. U-turn for switch initiative. U-turn and Bravebird are going to hit that Celebi really, really hard. Other than that, he's got Mega Tyranitar and Archeops. Mega Tyranitar, Archeops resist my stabs. Jellicent's immune to Double Edge. I don't want to leave it in on a Jellicent either way because of Will-O-Wisp support, especially if it's a physically defensive variant. That's just not going to be fun. But other than that, that's going to be post-hardcore. Hopefully, post-hardcore does come through and do some work this match. Next setup is actually Winchester coming in with a Frisk ability, Will-O-Wisp, Infestation, Rest, and Nightshade. Max HP, max special defense, 4 in defense with an impish nature. I really want this set to work as well, because this is a set I normally run on stuff like Regirockies, but I wanted to get consistent damage off with something like Nightshade, as opposed to something like Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball might be... no, I'm going to stick with Nightshade. I'm going to stick with Nightshade, just for the reliability of it. Will-O-Wisp does nerf his physical threats. He has a lot of physically offensive Pokemon on his team. Excadrill, Arcanine, obviously we can't burn. Machamp, I don't want to burn. Kyurem, Archeops, Mega Tyranitar. We can get burn damage off on all those things. Ambipom, I don't know if I said Ambipom. I don't know. We can burn those things and we can kind of sit in front of them because of our natural bulk. 130 base defense. With the Eviolite as well, provided it doesn't get knocked off, puts it through the roof. Infestation is my own form of Shadow Tag. I love Infestation. I love the thought of being able to keep something in, trap it with an Infestation, burn it with a Will-O-Wisp, just keeps that residual damage coming off Nightshade, and then we've got Rest for the recovery as well. So hopefully this thing can also trap a few things, get a knockout or two on there. At the very least, burn and nerf some of his physical threats, because I believe the only thing that gets Heal Bell on his team is Celebi. If Celebi gets Heal Bell? Or Aromatherapy? One of the two. Either way, though, that's my plans for Winchester. Last up is going to be Parasite, rounding off our team. So we've got the 3 physical presences in Streamers, Hephaestus, and Post-Hardcore, and our 3 bulkier Pokemon in Audino, Winchester, and Parasite. Or Cream Cheese, Winchester, and Parasite, I should say. Electros is actually a fun set this week as well. I actually really like all these sets. Aside from, I'm bound to show off that Staraptor's good in the GBA. I'm bound to do that. Other than that, I really like all these sets. Electros, Rock, and AV. Drain Punch, Rock Slide, Knockoff, and Volt Switch. Max HP, max defense, 4 in attack. Take advantage of that huge base attack of 115. So this thing can kind of sit in front of Mons, take a hit, dish it out, get recovery back with a Drain Punch. Rock Slide takes advantage of all the Mons weak on his team. Knockoff for the utility. Knockoff also does damage to the Celebi and the Jellicent as well, super effectively. Excuse me, he does have a justified user in the Arcanine, so I got to be careful for that. Volt Switch for the slow turn momentum. Excuse me, I'm gassy today. The Excadrill is the only thing that worries me about this set for 2 reasons. 1, obviously I can't touch it with a Volt Switch. 2, Mold Breaker Excadrill destroys this thing. I wanted a Mon that he really couldn't deal with too well. And looking at my matchup, the only Mon that can deal with Electros on his side is Excadrill. It's a Mold Breaker Excadrill because it breaks through the Levitate and then can hit me super effectively. Other than that, he's got nothing for it. So we can take on a lot of his physical presence on his team. We get super effective damage off on a lot. We do have a wide range of moves to take advantage of. We've got that coverage that we need. So yeah, 2 things to be careful of. Actually, the only thing really to be careful of with this set, in my opinion, is going to be Mold Breaker Excadrill. If I can figure out if it's Mold Breaker Excadrill early, that's going to be great. Scarfed Excadrill, I can get a clean switch into with a Festus, knock it out with a Fake Out Mach Punch combo. So, other than that, guys, that is going to be our team builder for this week of the GBA, going up against OldManTup and the Pittsburgh Pirattatas. If you guys have enjoyed, like I said earlier, feel free to leave a like. Feel free to join the city if you are not yet a part already, and I will see you guys tomorrow for our battle against OldManTup. Later.